Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another informative Jamaica Magazine journey. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Inside the pages today, inspiring stories on farming as a business, caring for persons with autism, and more stories on Jamaica's development. Stay with us. It all unfolds, starting with the news of the day, right after this important message.
The Transport Authority for this renewal period has launched its online application system, and we at the St. James Taxi Association has found it to be very, very helpful. It saves time, it saves money, and it has also improved the service delivery to our membership. I want to encourage other associations out there who may for some reason be a little bit reluctant to come on board, get online, and increase the service to your membership. It's easy. ta.org.ja. Time is money. Renew online, save time. I am Beyond Chance and I endorse this message.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Monday, April 14, 2025. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is inviting further investment and partnerships in Jamaica's business process outsourcing BPO space, which he says is being positioned as one of the country's dynamic growth industries.
Jamaica is ready, and there has never been a better time to invest in Jamaica. We are ready to deliver excellence in global services. We are ready to host your investments. We are ready to provide world-class talent, advanced infrastructure, and you have a government that is responsive to your needs.
With offices spread across all parishes, the BPO sector currently employs over 52,000 persons, serving local and overseas clients across key areas such as finance, health, telecommunications, logistics, and retail.
We are no longer asking whether Jamaica can do the job. We are demonstrating how we do it better, faster, and with the quality that the global market demands.
Dr. Holness was giving the keynote address at last week's opening of Outsource to Jamaica 2025 in Montego Bay. He also highlighted government's continued build-out of its three-pronged approach of institution, infrastructure, and identity in pursuit of Jamaica becoming a digital society actively participating in the fourth industrial revolution. Among the institutional advancements taking place is the establishment of an Information and Communications Technology Authority, appointment of a National AI Task Force, and the continued build-out of GovNet and the National Identification System NIDS.
Jamaica's digital transformation is not happening in abstract. It is unfolding before our eyes, and at its heart is a simple, powerful idea that technology, when used well, can unlock opportunity, create prosperity, and secure the dignity of every citizen. We are building not just a smart economy, but a smart country.
Improved water service is now on tap for over 10,000 residents of Ryan Park and surrounding areas in St. James. Phase 1 of the Ryan Park Water Supply Improvement Project was commissioned into service on Thursday by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness.
Through the installation of 5 relief pumps, upgraded power infrastructure, and newly constructed motor control centers, we have laid the foundation for consistent, efficient water supply to these growing communities.
The $54 million project was carried out by the National Water Commission. Phase 2 is in the design and planning stages. Following the commissioning ceremony, the Prime Minister toured the Ryan Park pumping station where 2 pumps were recently installed. Public passenger vehicle PPV operators will now have greater flexibility and access to newer, more efficient vehicles following Cabinet's approval of amendments to the 2014 Motor Vehicle Import Policy. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz outlined the updated age limits for imported PPVs at last week's post-cabinet press briefing.
For the public passenger transport sector, imported vehicles with seating capacity not exceeding 8 persons must not be older than 10 years, up from 8 years. Imported vehicles with seating capacity between 12 and 15 persons must not be older than 15 years. And imported vehicles without seating capacity between 26 and 32 seats must not be older than 15 years.
Minister Vaz says the previous 2019 amendment did not adequately benefit taxi operators, while the new policy provides more direct access to vehicle imports for compliant transport operators.
He has the option to import that vehicle directly by going online to the auctions, going to direct to suppliers in Japan or wherever else, and buy it at source, which means that he is not being held to the point of where he has to pay additional cost to dealers, middlemen.
Meanwhile, the Transport Authority and St. Anne Municipal Corporation are partnering to construct a dedicated taxi car park in Discovery Bay. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says the facility is to be built on land valued at approximately $10 million, which was gifted to the municipality by the Noranda Bauxite Company.
The facility, as it stands now, will serve as a main terminal point for over 250 taxis operating in that area. For taxi operators plying the routes, Discovery Bay to Falmouth, Discovery Bay to Brownstown, Discovery Bay to Runaway Bay, Discovery Bay to Farmtown, Discovery Bay to St. Anne's Bay, and the surrounding areas.
The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC, has also given the green light for the South Parade car park to be converted to a taxi car park.
This new car park will be the terminal point for 4 route taxi routes. The facility will help in alleviating the chronic traffic congestion in downtown Kingston, and some amount of retrofitting is required.
Emergency repair works underway to fix a breakaway on the Tavistock roadway in St. Andrew is well advanced and projected to be completed around the end of next month. The work became necessary after the road was severely damaged during the passage of Hurricane Beryl last year. Money for the project, set to cost over $40 million, is coming from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management ODPEM Disaster Relief Fund. An update on the initiative was provided during a recent tour of the site, led by the Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie.
The project is actually in 2 phases. We visited the first phase where we saw the work almost completed there, and we are at the second phase where you see the work well in over 50 to 60% in advance of what needs to be done.
This project is scheduled to complete prior to the beginning of the hurricane season, so we're looking at the end of May for completion. To full reinstatement of roadway, the area that is disturbed adjacent to the wall that is being constructed would also be asphalted. So the residents, after the work is completed, can have a smooth surface in order to traverse.
And finally, the Vineyard Town Golden Age home in Kingston has received a $25 million centralized storage facility. The newly constructed building comes with office and archive spaces, as well as rooms for the storage of food and other supplies. It was officially opened by the Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie, recently. He says the centralized storage facility is among several improvement projects undertaken recently at the Golden Age home.
We have been improving the wards, the bathroom facilities. We have put in CC cameras to ensure that the safety of the residents is paramount. And we have also said to the staff, and I will be announcing this, that we are going to now provide further training to improve service delivery for the staff here at Vineyard Town and right across the infirmaries in the country.
Minister McKenzie reiterated the government's commitment to those who are in need of support from the state.
In a couple days' time, I will be handing over one of two ambulances that has been provided for the poor relief team through the various local government infirmaries and Golden Age Home. And I must say that in round 2, the Vineyard Town Golden Age Home will receive their ambulance in round 2 of the project.
The Vineyard Town Golden Age Home is the largest care facility for seniors in Jamaica and the Caribbean, housing over 450 residents. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Excellence in literacy and numeracy are key components of education, needed to foster critical thinking and problem-solving skills. One local high school is employing strategies to bring grade 7 students up to par in these two areas.
The Ministry of Education Skills, Youth and Information, in partnership with St. Michael's College, has embarked on a transformative project known as the Grade 7 Academy. It's been established to improve the outcomes of students who have matriculated to high school with very low levels of literacy and numeracy, starting with a small group. The aim of the project is to revitalize 2 underperforming institutions in Jamaica. The first selected institution is the Holy Trinity High School, located right in the heart of Kingston. According to findings done by the institution, of the 203 students assigned to Holy Trinity in 2023, most were reading below grade 5 level, with 30% reading at the primary level and below. 45% were reading between grades 1 and 3. These diagnostic results have been characteristic of the grade 7 student intake at the school over time.
And so there are different interventions that we have tried in the past, and it has helped to move the children in small ways. But this intervention, the Grade 7 Academy, whose aim it is, that aims rather, to ensure that 70 to 75% of the children are reading at the grade 7 level by the end of the grade 7 year. I think this is an awesome program.
So, what exactly has been the impact and outcomes of this initiative?
So we have 3 broad goals. One, to improve their levels of literacy, and we have set for ourselves this, I keep using the adjective, ambitious goal of having at least 75% of them reading at grade 6 by the time the year is over. Then the other goal is to have their numeracy levels also raised, at least to grade 4 and 5, or grade 5 and beyond. And very importantly for us, we're attempting a re-socialization of our children through a program of character formation.
To address this, the grade 7 curriculum was revamped to place greater emphasis on language arts and mathematics, targeting the remediation needs of incoming students and character development. This approach aligns with the national standards curriculum.
How this program is structured is that we have fewer subjects on the timetable precisely to make time for the numeracy and literacy focus. So it's an hour of language arts instruction uninterrupted every day with 40 minutes of practice on the computers. An hour of math instruction every single day with 40 minutes of practice. We have other subjects, because they're creative children. There's performing arts, and there's some woodwork or some agriculture, and then there's Christian living.
Here we have Christian living.
Yes, but those blocks of time for literacy and numeracy are non-negotiable.
Students are also introduced to software programs such as Clear Math and ELA Fast for Word, which help them improve their learning.
I'm learning very much in 7th grade right now. I was struggling with English, very bad in primary school, when I reach high school, I can do English very good right now.
So first of all, we handpicked our teachers as far as possible because our teachers have been trained in the use of the software. They've been trained in the delivery of the new curriculum because it is different, and there's ongoing training.
The teachers are good. They teach and explains what to do and what to not do. I was struggling with the maths and English. My grades before were like 20, 25, 50, and 70. But now they are in the 80s, 90s, and 100s.
After completing the Grade 7 Academy, students will matriculate into the regular curriculum.
So once they get into grade 8, there's going to be a hybrid kind of grade 8 come next year, because we now will have to introduce some of the grade 7 foundation work that they would have missed this year, whilst at the same time creatively interweaving the grade 8 curriculum into the program.
As a technical high school, Holy Trinity offers a variety of exams, including CSEC, City and Guilds, and NCT VET certifications. With programs like the Grade 7 Academy, students will have the opportunity to earn certifications in their chosen fields, enhancing their economic opportunities while also contributing positively to society.
Autism is a developmental disorder caused by differences in the brain. Many with the condition struggle to perform some normal functions. But as with most medical conditions, awareness and early supportive interventions can allow them to function better and live more fulfilling lives. Let's find out more in this next feature.
The sooner you know, the better. Understanding children with neurodivergent conditions is crucial for providing the right support and creating environments where they can truly thrive. In this feature, we will delve into the complexities of two of these disorders, autism and ADHD, and explore the efforts being made to help Jamaican children flourish regardless of their unique realities.
Autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a developmental disorder characterized by challenges in social interaction, communication, and repetitive behaviors. Children with autism may struggle with understanding social cues and forming relationships and may prefer to play alone. The symptoms vary and differ in each child, but among them, those on the spectrum might not make eye contact or respond to their names. ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, is a neurodevelopmental condition that affects a child's ability to focus, control impulses, and regulate activity levels. It is typically diagnosed in childhood and can persist into adulthood. Children with ADHD may struggle with sustaining attention, following instructions, or organizing tasks. They may seem forgetful or easily distracted.
The 2021 report by UNICEF showed that there are 16 million children between the ages of 10 and 19 in Latin America and the Caribbean who have mental disorders. In Jamaica, we are about 1 in 7. However, because our resources are so limited in terms of the state resources and so on, a lot of the children go unidentified. It is important that we identify our children early so that we can provide the necessary accommodations and interventions that they need to be successful.
Early intervention is essential if you've identified any of the symptoms linked to autism or ADHD. Fortunately, there are advocates like the Z Learning Center, which has been a steadfast supporter of the Ministry of Education, helping to ensure that every child receives the necessary support.
Once a parent comes in and we do an assessment, it is then sent to the Ministry of Education. So, for instance, a child who is in grade 4 who is assessed and is doing PEP, grades 4, 5, or 6. Once we do the assessment and the recommendation meets the child needs a shadow, or the child needs a scribe, or the child needs a reader. That is sent to the Ministry of Education, and they then provide the accommodations for the children.
Established in 2015, Zeal Learning Center provides full psychosocial assessments for children on the autism spectrum and those showing signs of ADHD.
We know that all children are capable of learning. They may learn differently, and they may learn not in the same way and the same day as a regular child. So we call children that we deal with predominantly neurodivergent children, as opposed to neurotypical children who are seen as a regular child.
Early intervention programs are very important to assess the needs of a child, and that includes both psychosocial and educational assessments. These assessments help identify children on the spectrum, those who may be dyslexic, have ADHD, or other developmental delays.
When a parent or a pediatrician recommends a child because they may see some developmental delays, such as the child may be nonverbal, the parent comes and the first thing we do is a consultation. We ask what they are seeing or what the referral is from the pediatrician. We then take the parent through a rigorous interview, and we then send documents to the teachers who may have had interactions with the child, as well as we do direct observations as well of the child. The entire process can take up to 4 hours depending on the age of the child. We have been assessing children as young as 2 years and 6 months who present with profiles of being on the autism spectrum. So you can appreciate that a 2-year-old may be different from a 10-year-old in terms of the length of the assessment. So we do also have early intervention, which we start at 3-year-olds and we go all the way to 7-year-olds.
Creating an educational plan after assessment is crucial, with each plan tailored to the child's specific needs to ensure their developmental success.
We have been working with quite a few preschools who they have seen children who are on the spectrum, and so they send the children here for what we call early intervention. The early intervention lasts for a year, and then the children are reintegrated into preschool. So when they come to us, they are for the most part nonverbal. They don't respond to their names. They don't maintain eye contact, which are, red flags as to a child being on the spectrum. We work with them, and then they are reintegrated into their regular preschool. It is important that parents are involved, because the school alone cannot help the child to be successful, because we need parents to be able to carry out the same activities at home.
It's important to remember that while autism cannot be cured, children can learn to cope with the disorder and diagnosis. Similarly, intervention is available for the range of neurodivergent conditions children face. So the sooner you know, the better.
Parents, please don't be overwhelmed if you think your child is on the spectrum. It is not a death sentence. Autism is something that can be worked with. Your child can be just as successful. There are many celebrity, I would say, persons who are autistic, people who are also ADHD. Simone Biles, who is the most decorated gymnast in the United States, is ADHD. However, we need to have our children's best interest at heart. And so the earlier we diagnose and remediate, the better it is for our children.
Eat what you grow, grow what you eat is again the theme guiding our celebration of Farmers' Month. It's been the mantra for many years, so have you begun heeding the call? As we consider this noble cause to feed ourselves, in the few remaining minutes of Jamaica Magazine, one young man shares his inspiring story.
I'm a 21-year-old poultry farmer. Started farming about 4 or 5 months ago. Went viral on TikTok, and ever since the poultry business has been booming for me. I started with only 100 chickens, and right now on the farm, collectively, me and my uncle have about 4,000 chickens, including layers.
Clear come by my farm, and his man and mother, and he said, "Mommy, I love farming." And I said, "Okay, bring him over, I teach him how to farm," and so him started out.
When I just started poultry farming, the big question was, how am I gonna be different? You know, I didn't just want to walk into a restaurant and say, can I speak to the owner? Hey, you know, some race fowl. I didn't just want to do that. You know, I wanted to market it in a way that I separated myself from other poultry farmers, you know, made my brand different. And something just came to my mind that, hey, you're good at, you know, music, you're good at writing songs, poems. Why not infuse that creativity into the business, you know, spread it on different social platforms and see what could happen. That's what I did, and it worked. Okay, you want a song? All right, so. If education are the key, ambition are the locksmith. First batch sold off is another batch. This to the profit like gymnasts, make you back flip back that again till you see a fat brick. We supply wings and legs and hip for the curry and fry and jerk man grill link. If you know Smaddy with the chicken and chips, big up Damien and the whole chicken and things. High pro feed, make your birds active, youth start farming and make a million quick. The reason why I decided to go into poultry is because Corona taught me one of the most important business lessons, and that is essential business is the most important. So most of my customers that, you know, order chickens from me, they do it via social media because, you know, social media, it's the new marketing tool. It's not a case where I have to bring them on the farm. I just, you know, need the address to have it delivered to them. You know, most of the times I'm busy, so I don't do the delivery, but, you know, I have the courier that does the delivery for them. So I get the order, basically, open the deep freeze, you know, weigh the chickens that are already harvested, you know, and send it off to the restaurant, to the wholesale, to the cook shop, the household, wherever. What we do, we go to a super center. You know, we pick up the baby chickens from the hatchery, you know, fresh out the eggs and everything. We transport them here on the farm. We have 2 coops that we use as the nursery coop, basically, because those coops contains the heat bulbs and, you know, the required facility to basically nurture those baby chicks. Then after that, we transport them to the big coop. And we basically feed them for 6 weeks, take care of them until they're ready to be harvested.
What I do, I actually build about 6 huge concrete tanks and harvest rainwater and treat it. So wherever time already I use that for the chicken, for the pig, and for the goat. So I don't buy a lot of water. I've actually calculated 9 months of rainfall water. So that means if I have drought for 9 months, I can supply myself for 9 months with water.
Jamaica is basically importing a lot of things that, you know, we have the potential to grow. I would advise a lot of youths to jump into farming. You know, it's profitable. There's a great demand for it, so, you know, you just want to market your stuff the right way. So yeah, I would definitely encourage, you know, everybody to build a fall cube, plant some cabbage, plant something, grow something. Now that you see what I'm doing, you can join in on this too. Stop farm fool, farm foul.
Our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine ends right here for today. But please join us again tomorrow, right here on this same station, for more news, features, and information you can use to live, work, raise families, and do business, and of course, retire in paradise. In the meantime, visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for this and other offerings. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Adrian Atkinson. Be your best self, and until next time, do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.